Oh my goodness. Oh man. Pittsburgh. Y'all done goofed. The Pittsburgh Penguins look like clowns right now. I don't know if y'all might have seen it, but yesterday we had ourselves some emails that were sent out by, I believe it was like the Pittsburgh Penguins communications team, like Pittsburgh and the Penguins. They were sending out emails where they actually said that Vladimir Tarasenko had signed with them. That was all the talk yesterday. Everybody was like, okay, wait a minute, what the hell? Why are the Penguins people saying that Tarasenko was a Penguin, but we haven't had a contract announcement or whatever? And then people are talking about seeing Tarasenko on the plane to Dallas, and people are joking about that. Who knows what's real? Who knows what's not? But now we know what is real, baby. The Tarasenko Show is heading over to Motown as Stevie Y and the Detroit Red Wings have signed Tarasenko to a 2-year contract with an AAV of $4.75 million a year. What a contract. I thought Tyler Mott yesterday was my favorite wing signing. This one, okay, maybe it's not going to overtake Mott. That guy's one of my favorite players. But Tarasenko, 2 years, $4.75 million. That is amazing. My goodness. And before we go out there and talk about the signing, I will just say the video that was previously published on my channel, I had no idea that Vladimir Tarasenko had signed by the time this video got publicized here on YouTube. This video was like rendering while this news came out. So you're getting 2 Red Wings whammies in a row here on the channel today. Let's go talk about Tarasenko, because when it comes to this player, of course, it does not take me to tell you why Tarasenko is a valuable ad for the Detroit Red Wings. 6 feet, 225, left-handed right wing guy. He is listed here as a dangler, a heavy shooter, and a powerful skater. This previous season with the Florida Panthers, he had 14 points in 19 games played and 9 points in 24 games as the team won the Stanley Cup. He had scored a few goals in the Stanley Cup Finals, some in games where they lost and the other in the game where they won. And then he had sprinkled in a few other goals throughout the playoff run as well. He had 41 points in 57 Ottawa Senators games this most recent year as well. He signed that 1-year short-term contract with the Sens to potentially find himself as a trade option at the trade deadline. That's exactly what happened. Rumors were saying that he only wanted to go to Florida, and it paid off. The bet was good. Unlike that Filip Zadina gamble we had talked about in the last video, this gamble, it did pay off, as Tarasenko, ending off his career with the St. Louis Blues, found himself traded to New York, had a pretty meh playoff run there because the Rangers got eliminated by the Devils in the first round, but then he chose Ottawa for that flexibility. He had the no move in place. He had the decision as to where he would get traded to. He chose Florida, and the rest is history. Second Stanley Cup in the career of Vladimir Tarasenko, as he had already won back in 2018-19 as a member of the St. Louis Blues. He had his career-high season in 2021-2022, getting 82 points in 75 games played, shortly after bouncing back from the injury-riddled late 2010s that he had had. This period of Tarasenko's career was really odd. A lot of people were questioning as to whether or not he could actually bounce back to point-per-game form because he was playing so limitedly due to injury. Like, sure, he was a point-per-game in 2019-20, but he only played 10 games, so a lot of people were concerned about the injury longevity as to how that would affect Vladimir Tarasenko and his game. But in 2024, we're seeing that it has really no effect here, as now we're going to be seeing the Tarasenko Show and Showtime on the same roster together. Look at this forward core, man. Let's go over to the Red Wings line combinations and take a look at what options the team has. Okay, thank you, Daily Faceoff, for updating everything. DeBrincat, Larkin, Raymond. Okay, that's the first line. That's not anything that we're not used to. We've seen DeBrincat play in various positions throughout the Red Wings lineup, but having him with Larkin and Raymond is great. Tarasenko, Kane, and Compher. Say what you want about the second-line center, JT Compher, and his ability. But Tarasenko and Showtime on the same line? Tarasenko and Kane? Dude, that is crazy! Like, imagine telling somebody back in 2015 that the Detroit Red Wings would have a line that featured both Tarasenko and Kane, and both Tarasenko and Kane would be near or around point-per-game superstars still. That is absolutely nuts. And like, you can talk about the decline, you could talk about the age. Tarasenko is 32, he'll be 34 when the contract expires. Patrick Kane's like 35. So these guys certainly are not the youngest assets to have on your team, but for what the Wings are doing right now, which is building a competitive roster that could potentially contest for a playoff spot, they don't want to regress, they want to still be in that wild card race. Even if you have names here that are really not what I'd have, like take out Joe Veleno, put in Tyler Mott. Honestly, I'd rather have that just because Tyler Mott is an absolute monster. This is a good lineup. It's a really good lineup. And Vladimir Tarasenko adds a huge element of depth goal scoring throughout the middle to top six that all of a sudden, you start thinking about what potential options are there. Yesterday, I did see some people respond to the Tyler Mott acquisition saying, okay, now get a goal scorer. Like, why would you go out there and spend assets on a guy who's just going to be a bottom six, fourth line grinder, Steve Yzerman? I saw some people talking about Tyler Mott saying, oh, this guy might be Grand Rapids bound because he doesn't get any points. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, the guy hasn't played an AHL game for years. You think he's going to go over from Tampa to Detroit and play for Detroit's farm team? The guy was a full Tampa Bay Lightning player for the entire season. Like, there are valuable qualities to his game, so I don't really get the idea that says that Tyler Mott is going to be a Grand Rapids Griffin, but taking a look at that acquisition, the big response was, hey, Steve Yzerman needs to get a goal scorer, and that is exactly what he did. Vladimir Tarasenko, baby. You know what else is great about this entire thing? It's the fact that it's day 3 of free agency, and we just now saw not only the news itself, but the rumblings. We didn't see any rumblings about this. This took everybody by surprise. Everybody was thinking about Tarasenko in Pittsburgh because of that email that was sent out yesterday. But with this being the 3rd day of free agency, I'm not going to say that Vladimir Tarasenko took a discount or whatever. Like, of course, there were teams that were calling him and potentially talking to him on days 1 and 2 of free agency. But for Steve Yzerman to not get this done until day 3, this is like the biggest signing of the day. It's one of the only signings of the day, too. A lot of the dust has settled throughout the NHL free agent market that now it seems a little bit easier to navigate. You're looking at some of the players that weren't able to get contracts that they wanted in days 1 and 2. Maybe some of these players wanted to wait a little bit and have their own opinions as to how things are going to go. Like, what if you're Vladimir Tarasenko and you're evaluating your options? All these teams are throwing money at you. They're throwing money in term. And what if you're the first contract that gets signed on day 1 of free agency? You don't know what the team you're signing with looks like because that team still has to sign a whole bunch of other guys and make a whole bunch of other trades. Now, after day 3 of the draft, a lot of teams have made significant moves. A lot of movement has happened around the NHL. We've seen trades, we've seen signings. Now you kind of have a vague idea as to what the teams are going to look like and who's going to be on which team. So for Tarasenko to wait it out, all of a sudden he's looking at Detroit and saying, okay, they got Patrick Kane re-signed. They still have their younger guys, DeBrincat, Larkin, Raymond. They just signed Tyler Mott too to fill out that bottom 6. They re-signed Christian Fischer. There's a good identity throughout the lineup that Detroit has. Why don't I go out there and be a part of it? So for Vladimir Tarasenko, this is a fantastic move for Steve Yzerman. I know I got like a comment in the last video. Oh, is every contract signing a fantastic move? Yes, that's how YouTube works, man. Like another one of the comments was like, yeah, he has to get your click. And that's exactly what he did. That's what I'm doing. That's my job. I have to go out there and get clicks. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to Vladimir Tarasenko signing a 2-year, $4.75 million AAV contract with the Detroit Red Wings. If Patrick Kane and Tarasenko start lighting it up together, could we see a world where these two guys are the top 2 wingers and not DeBrincat and Raymond? I don't want to go all top-heavy on you, but is Tarasenko, Larkin, Kane something you think about? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.